All right, everyone, welcome back into another fantasy golf video. Going to be touching on the top round 2 showdown plays here for the API. But first, I do want to get into a quick recap from yesterday. So yesterday, just recapping like the bets that I gave out for round 1. 3-ball wise, very good stuff. 3, 2, and 2 on the day. A couple of pushes that kind of felt like bad beats, to be honest with you. But overall, 1.7 units won there. That continues to be a source of profitability in the long term. Want to make that clear, in the long term. And then the PrizePicks and Underdog bets went 3 for 4 on the day. With the underdog slip ended up hitting there. So, a total of 2.7 units won on the day there. Now, obviously, round 2 is going to be much more focused on round 2 showdown for 2 reasons. One, because we don't have any PrizePicks or Underdog bets out there just yet, but this is typically the biggest edge that we get each and every week is round 2 showdown. Now, it is a 70-man field event, so there is that kind of caution. We're not getting as big of edge if we would be if it was double the field that it is. So there is that slight reduced edge that we have there. But I do want to start off with looking at the leaderboard here because, yeah, kind of crazy. Another week in which the chalk not doing all too well, especially in the terms of the top end golfers. And I think it's very interesting. Like half of the field was like near or under 5% owned. And I was kind of mentioning how I thought Ming-Woo Lee was, well, it was more the data was telling us Ming-Woo Lee was bad chalk, which probably will end up happening. We'll see. Obviously played a good round 1, -3. Still ended up having him ranked in the player pool decently high. So it's not like I was directly fading him, but you could make an argument that, especially with the ownership, like it still was kind of I don't want to say a fade, but he probably shouldn't have been that high owned. Like these guys in a 70-man field event, like it does make sense why the data was telling us, let's look elsewhere. So very interesting stuff there. And like the save play, Harris English, only about 14% on, kind of a head scratcher there as well. Griot, which very similar play to that of Ming-Woo Lee, only 8% on. Like kind of weird there. But yes, let's go ahead and get into the round 2 showdown picks here for you guys. So looking at, we're going to sort by round 2, and we're going to look at regression first. Which golfers maybe played poorly in round 1 that are not expected to play as poorly again. And don't mind like the ranks here, guys. It's set based off of a full field event. So Pavan is gonna be 1, okay. But it kind of makes sense. Like Kitayama, he was terrible today. That makes sense. But Scotty Scheffler popping up in there, Wyndham Clark popping up in there, Adam Scott popping up in there. Those are some interesting names. You actually have Taylor Moore, who's a decent value play, Jordan Spieth, and Justin Thomas as well, Chris Kirk. So we got some big name players and maybe some players that are playing well that are actually expected to play a little bit better than they did in round 1. The one that sticks out to me is Sam Burns. Now, I don't know how I feel about that exactly because he had a sloppy double bogey, had a couple bogeys as well. Really kind of played I don't want to say the best round out of anyone, but you really take away one bad drive and he might have ended up maybe with the first round lead, and maybe he doesn't get those other bogeys, but he played really well. So I do think he's someone that we probably will be trying to go back to as well. But let's go ahead and take a peek at which golfers are popping up as the best showdown picks in round 2. Interesting. So Scotty Scheffler is going to be number 1. I don't mind that. We got Xander Schauffele, number 2, Sam Burns, number 3. So, already pretty top heavy. That's fine. We're not really seeing that many value plays popping up too much. Maybe Benny Ann, maybe Brian Harman popping up in there, but it's probably going to be more of a fair and balanced approach. Now, I'll show you guys the lineup builder here in a second, kind of what it's telling us to play, but definitely interesting right away as to kind of what the data is telling us to do there. So I do want to jump into kind of the live stats as well, just to see kind of maybe where we could look. Let's see. I don't like to just look at strokes gained putting. I know kind of the industry does, and they kind of think that it's like the best stat to look at. I'm not saying it's not, but at the same time, I like to look at the full sample. That's why I like to look at the regression in general. Like, did a golfer not hit fairways? Is it typically more accurate with the driver? That stuff adds up as well. But just looking at it right now, like which golfers maybe putted better than they were expected, and we need to sort by field stat rank, bumped it up to 1, so we're only getting golfers that have data points on the season. And we're going to see that, Brandon Todd was a terrible putter. He's expected to putt better. We got Pavan, who was a bad putter in round 1, expected to putt better. But some of these golfers that were popping up in round 1 or round 2 showdown rank, those are the ones I'm paying attention to. So Adam Scott, Tagala was kind of popping up in there. And then it's not really that many golfers. You got Cameron Young, who salvaged-ish, kind of a sloppy round, but Wyndham Clark maybe someone you could look at. It is a 70-man field event. The edges that we would potentially get by looking at stuff like this is significantly reduced. And then flipping it around, which golfers maybe putted better than expected. These are golfers that you might not want to play. And so Ming-Woo Lee. Is he going to putt that well again? Probably not. And that's where I was kind of saying we'll see if that ends up holding up for people chalk-wise, but we'll see. Chris Kirk popping up in there. So, I'm not saying that these golfers are going to putt poorly. Against the 70-man field event, we will see, but a lot of them did not, or a lot of them putted way better than they typically. And I do want to call it that wind could potentially be a factor tomorrow as well. But this is always what I find funny about looking at weather. You would think there'd be some sort of continuity, but there isn't. So looking at the weather on the Weather Channel, I know a lot of people like to use Wind Finder as well, does show maybe a slight AM advantage, but it's not actually expected to get windy. So I do always find that weird, the discrepancies between kind of the two sites where we're getting reports from, but kind of is what it is. So all in all, though, I don't think we need to worry about the. All right, so jumping into the round 2 showdown tool, just sorting it by best values right now. I see Justin Lowers popping up in there. I don't know if I exactly agree with that. I think he had a good round 1. Now it's not, he's been someone that has been playing well. So it's not like too shocking that he played well, but I just don't expect him to follow it up in the way that he did. I don't expect him to follow it up in a GPP winning fashion. So I do want to limit my exposure to him. And then Seamus Power as well. He was someone that wasn't really popping up to me this week. So yeah, I just don't feel the need to go out of my way to target him. Some of these other golfers, value wise, I don't think we're going to end up on them too much. So again, what I'm just doing for round 2 showdowns, I want 3 unique players and about 35% max exposure. Generate that. And then we're going to see my exposure right now. A lot of Xander, that makes sense. A lot of Sam Burns, that makes sense. Tagala was popping up, that makes sense as well. Do I need to be on Brian Harmon at 40%? Probably not. Do I need to be at Benny Ann at 40%? Probably not. Same thing with Hideki, who is kind of, it's funny, Hideki is kind of citing that he's having back issues and whatnot. And of course, that's when he plays well, right? So I don't know. To me, that's probably a little bit too risky as well. So let's just update that here for you guys as well. So show usage here, and I'm just going to sort by ownership here. And so like, yeah, Hideki, maybe we can still be on him, but I am a little bit worried about, you know, potential injury for him. JT, I don't exactly love, maybe 30. Don't need to get too crazy with him. Benny Ann, kind of okay with that. Brian Harmon, I'm kind of okay with as well. Maybe 30. Siwoo Kim, again, I'm kind of like okay with it. I don't need to go crazy with it. JT Poston, probably 25. Like, I don't like to change this too much. I like the data do what it does. But maybe we can make some slight adjustments to maybe get some better proper exposure, so a little bit better, a little bit more evened out, not bad. And so looking at the round 2 3-ball bets, basically the same as yesterday, but with some slight differences here. So some of the golfers that, you know, we're popping for round 2 showdown are going to be those golfers that are going to be popping up again. So Xander over Jordan Spieth kind of makes sense, right? Cameron Young over Lucas Glover. I don't think I really need to tell you guys why that one's a decent one. Victor Hovland over Ricky Fowler. That one makes sense as well. Kirk over Hodges. Like, these ones all pretty much make sense. I would actually be kind of comfortable, I think, betting most of these, at least on the top end. Probably from Pavon up, I would feel pretty good about. And EVR over Grayson Allen, I don't really get that. Why would seem to bet Grayson Allen is trap? But that's going to do it, everyone. Again, we're not getting any prop bets here, so just a showdown video here for you guys. Good luck in round 2. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com. They are available for just $10 a month. Thanks for watching. Good luck tomorrow, and as always, let's keep cashing.